Kia ora. In the news today, the Prime Minister is continuing to pick holes in the opposition's joint electricity policy. The Greens and Labour's joint policy on electricity reform has earned it comparisons to communist economics that stifle market competition. Mr. John Key says that's starkly different from government plans and means battle lines are forming well ahead of the next election.
We're going to have an election based on the centre-right versus the far left. These people are on the record for wanting to print money. They have got some rinky-dinky housing scheme where the government all of a sudden starts building houses, and now they want to nationalise power companies.
A key criticism is that the Labour-Green reforms would discourage investment in new power plants and stifle competition. But Labour's deputy leader thinks Mr. Key is being hysterical.
We think that this is a common sense solution. New Zealanders have been paying too much for too long. It will be a process that will be done by competitive tender, and companies will be able to see how they can benefit from that. And we don't think that there's anything extreme about that at all.
Women's Refuge is questioning the example that the Hurricanes have set regarding domestic violence. Heather Henare feels that All Black and Hurricanes winger Julian Savea shouldn't have played last Friday with his current assault charges.
I don't think that was a very wise decision. It says that they're condoning the violence, and it doesn't matter what they say about giving support to the players in situations like this.
Search teams have found 3 trampers missing for a week in the Kahurangi National Park in Golden Bay. A 51-year-old American man and 2 women in their 20s, 1 American and 1 Finnish, were reported missing yesterday. One of the women is receiving medical treatment, but all 3 are understood to be all right. And the cleanup is continuing after the weekend's wild weather. More than 100 millimeters of rain fell within an hour last night, and heavy rainfall continued today. Tauranga residents will have to treat the city's waterways as contaminated, and people in Nelson clearing mud and silt are being cautioned about possible sewage contamination. They are also warned not to swim near Tahunanui Beach and the Waimea estuary. A welfare centre is currently open at the Richmond New Life Centre, and options are available through work and income if people need accommodation. And people on the Springfield water supply near Christchurch are to start boiling their water for at least 3 minutes before using it. Chlorination of the water supply has also been increased and will continue until further notice. Meanwhile, property owners are advised to contact their insurance companies promptly. The Insurance Council says it is wise to take photographs and list damage as soon as possible, particularly for badly damaged or contaminated items that need to be disposed of quickly. A glitch that caused details of clients to be sent out by the IRD is said to be a random event that won't happen again. 201 emails were accidentally sent to 69 people. Acting Deputy Commissioner Mike Hewitson says the software glitch responsible has been identified and fixed. West Auckland's first skyscraper could be dwarfing suburban houses as soon as March next year. Auckland Council has granted resource consent for a 10-storey residential tower in New Lynn. Mayor Len Brown says it's a new affordable housing option.
Tasman Cook estimate that it'll take about 11 months to build, so it's a very fast build.
The Immigration Minister has welcomed 30 Afghan interpreters and their families to Auckland. They have taken up the government's resettlement offer in recognition of their work with the New Zealand Provincial Reconstruction Team in Bamiyan Province. After an orientation program at the Mangere Refugee Centre, they're expected to move to Hamilton. And in Afghanistan, despite last year's 11% economic growth, many anxious businesses and aid groups are looking to curb their investments as international troops prepare for next year's withdrawal. But some businesses are planning to expand, such as Coca-Cola and airline company East Horizon, which opened just 4 months ago and has already had 7 routes open, including flights to Bamiyan. And finally, the surviving Boston bombing suspect has regained consciousness in hospital. Jokar Tsarnaev is said to be responding to questions in writing, having suffered a serious throat injury in the shootout. The 19-year-old remains in the intensive care unit of Beth Israel Medical Center with multiple wounds. Well, that's the news today. Kanuinga karere matua maite fare korero rima mauriora.